Hare Krishna, welcome to Corporate Bhagavad Gita. We'll be continuing. We'll be continuing our Bhagavad Gita reading and discussion. We have completed till 12th chapter. Today we'll do the 13th chapter. And there are prayers on my screen. You can repeat with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurannilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam वंदेहम श्री गुरोः श्री युक्तापदकमलं श्री गुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्री रूपं सागर जातम सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay. Okay, so we completed 12 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Hmm. Hmm. So one of the acharyas, they give a very nice example. We'll start with that example. Yeah, so acharyas, they give a very nice example. Let me take the okay. Okay, maybe this one. So what they say is Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters. Okay, 6 chapters, and 6 chapters. So it's divided into 6 chapters, and it's compared to like a jewel in a box, where the first 6 chapters is the upper covering, the middle 6 chapter is the jewel itself, and the later 6 chapter is the below covering of the box. Hmm? So we finished the upper covering, we finished the jewel of the box, that is bhakti yoga, in the middle 6 chapters. Now we'll be going to the jnana, the knowledge that Krishna wants to expand more in this 13 to 18 chapters, which is the lower part of this jewel box. Okay, so okay, in this chapter he's going to talk more about the jnana part, the knowledge. We are living in this material world, right? So this material world is designed in certain way. Now if you remember the 12th chapter, Krishna says that you need to practice. Let me just go over there. Hmm. Krishna gives progressive stages of devotion in the 12th chapter. He says, the first thing is you need to fix your mind on me. Now, fixing mind on somebody is very difficult. Unless we fall in love, we are very much attracted. It's very difficult to fix a mind on someone, right? It is easy to fix a mind on our children, or father, mother, or wife, or husband, or today's world there is love stories. So their mind is fixed on the opposite sex, and it is very easy to fix mind on, say, on some sports, right, or something, or stocks, or something. Now fixing mind on Krishna, it is not a very easy task. So therefore one needs to practice. So Krishna says, if you cannot fix your mind on me, then you practice the sadhana bhakti under a spiritual master, and he will tell you what you need to do. Follow four regulative principles, chant 16 rounds Hare Krishna Mahamantra, eat prasadam, associate with devotees, uh, read Shrimad Bhagavatam every day with the devotees, worship the deity form of Krishna. Like that, he gives the regulative principles. Do this every day, and after doing it for a very long time, hearing for a long time, you will develop a desire to attain Krishna. So that is sadhana bhakti. But this is also very difficult to follow for some people. So for them, Krishna says, okay, you work for me. My temple you build, you help in building. So they'll come as workers, they may come as managers, they may give money to Krishna's purpose, distribute Bhagavad Gita everywhere, like that. So that's how one works for Krishna. But again, we don't see many doing this. So for them, Krishna says, okay, you then practice purification. You gather knowledge. Then you will understand that you have to meditate, and you will also understand that you have to give up the results. Be detached from this world. Do your work dutifully. So like that, he gives gradation, okay, of devotional service. How you can practice from wherever you may be, least interested to most interested. Okay, now we are living in this world, this particular world that we are living. Krishna made it in a certain way, and few places he said certain things. Like he said, this world is dukkhalaya mashashvatam. There is dukkha in this world. It is temporary. Then it is made of three modes. It is bhumi, apo, nalo, vyo, vayu, earth, water, fire, air, ether. It is with different living entities, right? There's so many living entities here. Where it is. There's so many living entities living here, and there is so much of material world. Yeah, so many things happening. Hmm? There is karma in this world, then there's punya, papa, there are devatas, all these things are there, right? There is earthquake, uh, so many things, volcanoes, earth, water. So all these things are there, and they are working under certain rules, under certain laws, in a particular fashion. Okay, in a particular fashion they are working. Now we need to understand this kshetra. Yeah, we need to understand the kshetra. Why we need to understand the kshetra? How many of you know cricket? Played cricket? How many of you know played cricket?
Yes, Prabhuji, you know.
There are various types of cricket pitches.
Yes,
Green
Prabhu.
pitch, flat, dry, wet, dusty, dead. And you will find them various places, various stadiums are there. In the Europe, it will be different. In West Indies, it will be different. In India, it is different. In Australia, it is different. New Zealand, it is different. Isn't it?
Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
these pitches are studied by whom? By all the players, whether he be a batsman, whether he be a bowler. Can you tell me the reason why they study this pitch?
Prabhuji, to make the proper strategy,
How? Why means strategy? What is the?
bowling and batting.
Yeah, I mean, what strategy they will make?
So,
Let's
like,
say,
yeah,
let's say if it is a flat track pitch,
mm,
what strategy they will make?
flat is not much, but turning, like, they will see if it is turning early, so then they will go for bowling. If it is like
Mm-hmm.
it is likely to turn later in the days,
Yeah,
then
if
they
it is
will go
like
for
very
batting.
hard, if it is a
Yeah,
hard pitch,
yeah.
like in Australia and all that, they have very hard pitch. So then the
Yeah.
bowlers, what they will do?
So they will do. bouncers and this kind of
Yeah,
things.
they know. And even they
Yes.
will study the weather. Why they will
Yeah.
study the weather?
For swinging like that, ball is swinging.
Yeah, if the weather has more moisture, if the air is there, then they can do outswing, in swing, isn't it?
Yes,
So
bro.
this particular stadium, they are studying every part of it. Hmm? They're studying all this weather, temperature, pitch, the direction of the wind, so that they can use it for their purpose, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
They can use it for their purpose to maximize their output, to get more runs, uh, to get somebody out, like that. So this is a kshetra. In this kshetra, 22 players are playing, 11 from one team, 11 from other team, right? So they are studying this kshetra, and then they are making maximum utilization. Okay, so if 22 players are looking at this pitch and then deciding the strategy, we are living on this earth. This is also a kshetra. So how this whole thing is working? We have to decide a strategy here also, right? Hmm? We have to decide a strategy.
Yeah.
Hmm? So before that, we have to study what is all these parts, and what is it made of, what are the rules, what are the laws working, how can I maximize it using. So this jnana Krishna is going to give in these chapters 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And in the 18 he is going to repeat, and 18 he is going to again summarize the whole Bhagavad Gita. So this is the importance of kshetra. So this is just the material world that we are living. Even the body that we are living, human body, this is also kshetra. We are living inside this. The whole medical science depends on this study of the muscles, everything, right? Then one can make the best use of it. And then if there is any disease, they can diagnose it. If there's some fracture, they can fix it. So we need to study this, right? We have big colleges, 5 years they spend to study these systems, isn't it? Then we come to know, there are various kinds of systems in the body. Like here, it will say there's a circulatory system for the blood, there's a nervous system, there's a skeletal system, there's a respiratory system, there's a digestive system, a muscular system. So all this is studied, because if we don't want to damage it, and we want to make a best use of it, we want to live a long life. So this is a kshetra. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita says our body is a kshetra. This body is a kshetra, of which this is the mechanical part of the body, the biological part of the body. It's a yantra. It's a it's a machine, like let's say washing machine panel. When a washing machine comes, you want to study all this, right? How to use it, how to make use of every cycle, which button means what, isn't it? They give a manual.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Why? Because then we don't damage it, and we use it to the best purpose, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
There are various cycles. There is 45-minute cycle, there is 50-minute cycle, there is 14-minute cycle. If you use the 14-minute cycle for our daily use, we will say, oh, my clothes are not getting washed properly, because we are
Yeah.
using the wrong cycle. The point I want to mention is everything is a kshetra in this world. Kshetra means ground. Kshetra means a place, and we have to study that place so that we can use it to the best purpose. And from Bhagavad Gita's point of view, the material world, the material body, this is the kshetra. Okay, so let's start with today's question. Arjuna asked this same question. Arjuna Vacha. Prakriti Purusham Chaiva Kshetra. This is the word I use. Kshetram. Kshetra Kshetrajnam Evacha Etad Veditum Ichhami Jnanam Gyanam Cha Keshava. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti Abhidiyate. Etadyo Veti Tam Prahur Kshetrajna iti Tad Vidaha. See, the word he used is Kshetram. Kshetram means Kshetra. Kshetrajna, one who knows. Who knows this Kshetra? Who knows about this? That is his question. Etam veditum ichhami, I want to desire. Ichha. Jnanam jnanam Keshava. Jnanam. Jnanam means what is knowledge? What is that knowledge? Nayam. Nayam means what is to be known from that knowledge. Tell me. So first is Prakritim Purusha. Prakriti means this material world. What is this Prakriti? Purusham. Who is the owner of this? Who is the controller of this? Kshetram. Kshetram means this body, this material world. And who knows all this? Kshetrajnam and Jnanam, knowledge, and object of knowledge. Okay, sure. Please tell me all of this. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and object of knowledge." So many things he asked. Prakriti, that is the nature. Purusha, enjoyer. Who really enjoys? Finally. The field, Kshetra, and the knower of the field. Who knows this field? Who is the owner of this field? Who is the controller of this field? Who is playing in it? And of knowledge, an object of knowledge. So all this, so from here we will be very analytically and logically and philosophically going to discuss these chapters 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and some part of 18 also. Okay, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, this body that we have, the Sharira, O son of Kunti, is said to be the field. So the focus of the Kshetra now is just the body. From broader perspective, everything is a Kshetra. The material world is a Kshetra. But from this chapter's perspective, 13th chapter, Krishna is very specifically this body. He's saying, let's talk about this body. This body is also Kshetra. So this body is called Kshetra. And one who knows this body is the knower of the field. And who knows this body? The Atma knows the body. So he's the knower of the field. He's Kshetrajna. Okay. Any questions? Any comments before we start our 13th chapter? Okay. Arjuna was inquisitive about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, enjoyer, Kshetra, field, Kshetrajna, its knower and knowledge, an object of knowledge. When he inquired about all these, Krishna said that this body is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. This body is the field of activity of the conditioned soul. See, the body is a field of activity. It does activity. Through his eyes, it is seeing. Through his legs, it is walking. Through his hands, it is holding. Through his tongue, it is talking. So all the activities it is doing. Five senses and five working senses, five knowledge gathering senses. Hmm? So this field, actually the word used in Bhagavad Gita for this body is called Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. Yantra. Yantra means what?
Yantra is
Machine.
machine. Yeah.
Yes. So this body is actually a machine. It's a biomechanical machine. It's not made of nuts and bolts, it's not made of metals. It's a biological machine. And there are mechanical, it's a mechanical machine. It's moving, like a mechanic. Right?
Yes, bro.
So it's a machine. So who is driving this machine? So this picture I always show, but here you can understand. Thus Atma is driving this machine by providing it electric pulses to the heart. And then when the heart pumps, right? The heart pumps, the blood flows through all the body is aware, consciousness is spread, and that's how the soul is driving. Now there is one more person sitting next to the soul, and that is, who is he?
Paramat.
Paramatma. And that is Krishna. So Paramatma is the another knower of this field. There are two knowers. One is the individual knower, Jivatma, soul, and Paramatma is the Paramatma, which is another thing is called super soul. Super soul. So here the super soul is also there. So he's also the Kshetrajna. So so Krishna is going to talk about Kshetra, this super soul also, Paramatma also. Hmm? Okay. The conditioned soul is entrapped in the material existence and he attempts to lord it over material nature. So lord it over means he wants to use it fully. And so according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. So according to his karma desire, he gets certain bodies. Now according to our budget, we can buy a certain car. Not everyone can buy a Mercedes and a BMW, right? If they have that much of bank balance, then they can go and buy. So depending on our capacity, we will get our body. So right now, the body that we have got, right, and its abilities, its various functions that it can do, it's all our previous karma and desires that we had. And then, how much pious thing we had, we got a particular body, we got a particular family, we got a particular place to live in, we got a particular city to live in, a country to live in, and on earth. So everything is decided by that. That field of activity is the body. And what is the body? The body is made of senses. The conditioned soul wants to enjoy sense gratification, and according to his capacity to enjoy sense gratification, he's offered a body. So we want to enjoy in this world. We want to do something, right? So we are given this body. Hmm? Now, if we want to, let's say, go deep in the ocean, how can we go deep in the ocean? Let's say we go to Andaman Nicobar, and we want to see the floor of the ocean in Andaman Nicobar or Lakshadweep. How do we see? Let's say I want to do deep diving. Can I just go inside?
No, Prabhuji.
Then what do I need?
You need some instrument by which you can like.
Yeah, we need this diving suit. We need an oxygen cylinder, right? And
Yes,
we need to
Prabhuji.
know swimming. Then we can go. Otherwise, if we are in open water, we don't need anything. But if you want to go deeper, we need all this equipment. So basically, that is a body, isn't it? If you want to go in space,
Spacesuit.
yeah, spacesuit. So these are bodies, and we are using this kind of bodies. This spacesuit is actually $1 million, 8 crore rupees. So yeah, if you want to do like this, then we also have bodies. Similarly, there is birds, there are aquatics, there are trees. Hmm? These are all nothing but bodies. Hmm? So all nothing but bodies. If one wants to live like that, they'll get that kind of particular body. They'll get particular kind of body here. Okay. So now Krishna is only talking about the human body, because human body can only do spirituality. No other body can do spirituality. So our focus is which body? Human body. Now the person who should, okay. Now, therefore, the body is called Kshetra, or the field of activities for the conditions. Now the person who should not identify himself with the body is called Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is one who knows this body, and he should know that actually he is separate from the body. He should not say, I am this swimming suit, or I am this space suit. It is not very difficult to understand difference between the field and its knower, the body and the knower of the body. Any person can consider that from childhood to old age, he undergoes so many changes of body, yet it's still one person remaining. Thus, there is a difference between knower of the field of activity and actual field of activity. A living conditioned soul can thus understand that he is different from the body. It is described beginning, Dehinosum yatha dehe, Kaumaram yoram jara, tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatranamute. that the living entity is within the body, and that body is changing from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age, and the person who owns the body knows that the body is changing. So we know our body is changing. We were some time ago baby, then toddler, then teenager, then a young man. Now we are middle aged, and what is coming? Old age is coming. So we know our body is changing. But are we changing? No, we are something very separate from it. Therefore, we should know that we are different from the body. We say, "No, my body." My body means me and my body are separate. We say, "My car." Are you the car? No, you are separate. You are different. Sometimes we think, "I am happy, I am man, I am woman, I am dog, I am cat." See, these are body designation of the knower. But the knower is different from the body. Although we may use many articles, our clothes, etc., we know that we are different from things, the things used. Similarly, we also understand by little contemplation that we are different from the body. I or you or anyone else who owns the body is called Kshetrajna, the knower of the field of activities. And the body is called Kshetra, the field of activities itself. In the first six chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. So, in the first six chapter, what is described? The Atma is described, and how he can understand the Supreme Lord is described. In the middle six chapters, the Supreme Personal God is Sri Krishna and the relationship with the individual soul through devotion service, that is Bhakti Yoga, is described. The superior position of the Supreme Personal Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are definitely defined in these chapters. We finished our 12th chapter. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their forgetfulness they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Lord in different capacities, as a distress, those who want money, inquisitive, and those who are search of knowledge. In 7th chapter, we read this. Four types of people will approach Krishna. One, who are in problems, distressed. This world gives enough problems to everyone, but for some people it is less too much of problem. So they will approach God, right? Wherever they are, they will approach God. We also approach God. It's not like we are. Then second is those are in want of money. Everyone wants money. We also want money. So everyone goes to God. Then inquisitive. Inquisitive means these are those people who are very interested in this world, like scientists and all that. They want to know what is this world made of. And then there are last who are in search of knowledge. These ones, they know that there is spiritual knowledge in this world, and I want to know the highest spiritual knowledge. So that's a Gyani. That is also discussed. Now, starting 13th chapter, how the living entity comes in contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through different methods of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and discharge of devotional service are explained. So, in the coming chapters, we are going to study this different types of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, discharge of devotional service. Everything will be explained. Although the living entity is completely different from material body, he sometimes even related. This is also explained.
Prabhu, uh,
Yeah.
actually, in the purport, they have mentioned knower of the body as conditioned soul.
Hmm.
So, what does that mean actually? Like, why they are mentioned as
Condition.
conditioned
Yeah.
soul?
Conditioned soul means, so there are two types of souls: Baddha Jeev uh, and liberated souls. One who is conditioned, one who is liberated.
Okay.
Liberated means mukta, jiva mukta, mukta jiva. So condition means that the soul is not desiring for mukti. It is still desiring that I need to take new bodies to enjoy new things. Okay, that is one meaning of conditioned. That the soul is not desiring mukti, or he has no interest only.
Okay.
Second is, in the body that it gets, it identifies very much with the body. It will say, I am man, I am dog, I am this, I am that. Hmm? It will identify with that and it say, I am elephant. Hmm? I am this particular man, I am this particular woman. These are my. possessions. So he is putting conditions, right? He's putting conditions, therefore he is
Mm-hmm.
conditioned. But whereas a liberated soul, he doesn't put condition, even though he may be in a body. He says the body is there, I am there, but I am separate from the body. So that's a liberated soul, when he can disassociate with self itself with it, with the body that is. Like, uh, let's say our friend is coming in his car. Now you see on the road so many cars, but you'll identify your friend's car, right? And when you see your friend's car, you'll say, oh, your friend has come,
Yes.
right? But my
Yes.
question
Yes.
is whether the car is your friend. You didn't see your friend in reality, you just saw the car of your friend, and then you concluded that, yeah, my friend has come. So what we are doing is we are identifying that friend with the car, with his car. But his real identity is what? His real identity is that it is separate from this car. When he gets down from his car and anything happens to his car, will you be worried? Let's say he gets down and then his car is hit by another car and it is totaled. Are you worried?
No.
You're not worried, because you'll say, oh, friend, you are saved. Thank God you are saved. If you had been in the car, you would have gone and the accident, right?
Yes.
So the identity is very clear in our mind for our friend, that he is separate from the car. Once he come out from the car, we are no more worried of the car. Okay. So
Okay.
our understanding of identity for our friend is very clear. But when it comes for our own understanding, our own identity, then we are conditioned. We are thinking, I am this body, I'm Mr. So and so, I'm Miss so and so, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm this and that. So Krishna comes and tells, Dehino samyata dehe. Once you leave this body, then you come out of that car. When you come out of that car, then you remember what is your identity, isn't it? So therefore, the soul who understands this thing, he becomes liberated. So he then becomes jiva mukta. So this conditioned soul, you understand what is meaning? He's putting conditions on him. I
Yes.
am
Yes,
this, I
Prabhu.
am that.
Yeah.
The
So the
liberated soul, even in the body, he
mm-hmm.
will be liberated, because he won't say that I am this, I am that. For legal purposes, he will say, but for every other thing, he will say, okay, fine, I'm in this body for some time, and when I leave, I won't be disturbed. So that's actually a liberated person. So that's why we see whenever sadhus and rishi munis, they used to die, right? They used to die in great peace, because they knew that they are not the body. But when a common man dies, what does he say?
With
What does he
pain.
say? He tells the doctor, give me one more day, give me 5 more days, give me 1 month, give me 1 year, isn't it? Because he's so attached to the body that he thinks, oh, this is there, that is there. So that's a conditioned soul. A liberated soul is, he just says, okay, I'm going. Anyway, the point is, to become a liberated soul also takes a lot of effort. It's not that easy either. But
Yes, Prabhu.
hmm. But by the process of bhakti yoga, one becomes. By the process of bhakti yoga. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
At this point, we are theoretically understanding that we are not the body. Okay. Now, to understand it practically, we need to practice the bhakti yoga system. We need to practice a yoga system. And then the realization comes later on, where we actually become disassociated with the body. And that's a process. क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारतः क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञोर ज्ञानम यत्तज् ज्ञानम मतं मम. O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower of all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is also is called knowledge. That is my opinion. So now Krishna talks about Paramatma, and he clearly says, I am also the Paramatma because I am in everyone's body. Okay, so he talks about Paramatma here, and he says, knowing this body and the two knowers, one is the individual soul, one is the super soul, Paramatma and Jivatma. Knowing all these three is knowledge. That is my opinion. While discussing the subject of body and knower of the body, the soul and the super soul, we shall find three different topics of study. The Lord, that is Krishna, the living entity, Jivatma, and matter, that is Prakriti. Hmm? In this field of activities in every body, there are two souls, individual soul, super soul. Because the super soul is the plenary expansion of Krishna, Krishna says, I am the knower and I am the individual knower of the body. I'm the super knower. Krishna is a super knower. And we are individual knower. We are limited knower and Krishna is unlimited knower. I'll explain this super knower concept, uh, as we explain, as we go ahead. It will be explained. This super knower concept will keep coming after 14, 15 text. Again, we'll discuss. I'm present in everyone's body as Paramatma. See, because the super soul is present in everyone's body, he knows what is happening in all the bodies. He knows what is happening in your body, my body, the bird, the everything that is around us. So that's why he's called super knower. But do I know your body? No. So we are just individual knower. I know what is happening in my body. One who studies the subject matter of the field of activities and the knower of the field very minutely in terms of Bhagavad Gita can attain knowledge. The Lord says, I am the knower of the field of activities in every individual body. The individual body may be the knower of his own body, but he's not knowledge of but he's not in knowledge of other bodies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present as a super soul in all bodies, knows everything about all bodies. What is happening in your mind, my mind, everyone's mind, he knows. He knows all different bodies of the various species of life, not just humans, even other species like animals and aquatics and reptiles and so many things. A citizen may know everything about his patch of land. So example is given, if we have a land, we know what is happening in our land. But the government knows what is happening in all the land, right? Similarly, a king knows not only his palace, but all the properties possessed by the individual citizens, by all the individual citizens. Similarly, one may be proprietor of the body individually, but the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all bodies. The king is the original proprietor of the kingdom. So all the bodies belong to whom? The king. In this case, it belongs to Krishna. All the land belongs to whom? The king, the government, isn't it? Ultimately, it belongs to the government of India, even though it may be on your name. So, like the king is the original proprietor, Krishna is the original proprietor of everything. Aham sarvasya pravo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva mam bhajate mam buddha bhava samvitaha. The body consists of senses. The Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna, Rishikesh, another name of Krishna, Rishikesha, which means the control of all senses. All senses, not just our body, but all the bodies have senses, right? So all senses he's controlling. He's the original control of the senses. Just the king is the original control of all activities of the state. The citizens or the secondary control. The Lord says, I am the knower. This means that he is the super knower. The individual soul also only knows his particular body. So same thing is said. Now this particular verse comes in Vedic literature, not said where it is. Okay. This body is called Kshetra, and within it dwells the owner of the body and the Supreme Lord, who knows both the body and the knower of the body. Therefore, he is called the knower of all fields. The distinction between the field of activities, the knower of activities, and the supreme knower of activities is described as follows. Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as Jnana. Okay. So, Jnana means what? Jnana means to know about the body, to know about Jivatma, and to know about Paramatma. These three things constitute as jnana. That is the opinion of Krishna. To understand both the soul and super soul as one, yet distinct, is knowledge. Okay, now we have discussed this many times, but this is the time. The soul and the super soul, the Atma and the Paramatma, they are one, yet distinct. Now you need to tell me how they are one, how the Atma and Paramatma are one.
Uh, the qualities are same. Uh,
What is the quality of Atma?
it's eternal
Hmm.
and
Stana, full of knowledge
yeah.
and bliss. Satchit
Yes,
Ananda,
yes, yes,
Satchit Ananda, right?
yes,
Paramatma is also Satchit Ananda.
yes.
Now these qualities are same, but they are distinct. How come they are distinct? See, one of the point here explained is the super soul knows of all the bodies, but the soul only knows of his body.
Yeah, that is the difference.
That is the
Prabhu. Yeah,
difference. That means by quantity wise, the
yeah,
soul is
yeah.
very small, but the super soul Paramatma is very big. It is spread everywhere. The soul is not spread everywhere. He is spread only in his kshetra. But for the super soul, everything is a kshetra. Material world, spiritual world, everything. One who does not understand the field of activity and the knower of the activity is not in perfect knowledge. One has to understand the position of Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer of nature, and Ishvara, the knower who dominates or controls nature and the individual soul. One should not confuse the three in their different capacities. See, there are different philosophies which say that we are all one. The material nature is one, Purusha is one, Ishvara is one, everything is one, we are one, you are one, God is one, you are God. Concluding, you are God. That is not acceptable because we cannot become God. Why? We don't control things, right? Do we control?
No.
So that is a simple thing. No? Can we become God? No, we cannot. Then what are we? We are godly. We are godly. Meaning we are Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. We are Atma. But are we Paramatma? No. Are we Parabrahman? No. This we need to understand this philosophy. Right? The reason is in the outside world, this philosophy that everything is one and you are God is very, 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 very prevalent. And it is prevalent because Shankaracharya preached it so nicely. Huh? But the real truth is we are one, but we are separate. Okay? We are one, but we are still separate. And we cannot become uh, we cannot become the Paramatma. Okay. So now Prabhupada gives a very nice example. One should not confuse the painter, the painting, and the easel. Only by a picture we can understand what this all this means. Painter, painting, easel. Okay. So easel is this particular thing where the painting is kept on. Okay. And Painter and painting, we know what it is. So are these all three things one? Is the painter, the painting, and the easel one? One should not confuse these three. This is what the acharyas are saying. Very interesting example, right? They are separate, but the painter is painting the painting on the easel, right? Like that. So that's how they are one also, and they are separate also. Hmm? This material world, which is field of activity, is the nature, and the enjoyer of the nature is the living entity, and above them both is the supreme control, the personality of it. It is stated in the Vedic language in Shvetaswara Upanishad, Bhokta Bhogyam Preritam Cha Matva Sarva Proktam Trividam Brahman Etat. There are three Brahmans. Prakriti is also Brahman, field of activities. Jiva is also Brahman, trying to control the material nature. And the control of the both of them, that is Para Brahman, is the factual controller. Now, this is a very interesting thing because Shvetaswara Upanishad, these Upanishads, they say such thing. There are three Brahmans. Everything is Brahman. Brahma, Sarva Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. So it seems like, everything is one, right? That's the meaning of it. When we say everything is Brahman, everything is one. Now let's say this is a family. Hmm? This is one family, right? Let's say the surname of this family is Sharma. Though they don't look Indian, I'll take the Indian one big family. Let's put, you know, we will get one big family. Okay. Let's say this was one big family. Hmm? Singh. Singh. Now everyone is a Singh, right? I make this statement saying that everyone is a Singh. What I say? After looking at this picture, I'll say everyone is Singh. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. But does it mean that they are one?
No.
Then how come they are one? They are
Then
one
it
also and they are distinct, right? As a family, they are one, but individually, they are individuals.
individuals.
Yeah. Just like, husband and wife, when they marry, we say they become one. But actually, they don't become one. They are two only. But they become one in purpose. Similarly, this whole family is together for this one purpose of being together as a family, right? There is one team and there are 10 people in that team. And we say, one team, we say. Why? Because the purpose is the same of all the team members. Similarly, the purpose of Prakriti, the purpose of Jiva, the purpose of Parabrahman, Paramatma are all the same. In that they are one. Okay, in that all of them are Brahman. Means they got one surname. What is that? Brahman. But the surname of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Parabrahman. Right? And for Jiva it is just Brahman. For Prakriti it is just Brahman. Right? Like that it is. This is how we need to understand. Otherwise, this statement will, people will say everything is one. Have you heard this statement? Everything is one, we are one, you are one.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Lot of
So
people say that.
that's what I'm trying to say. This philosophy is very, very prevalent outside world. And we need to be clear. This one means what? This one means we are one big team. But we are all individuals in that team. Even though we are team, we are still individual or not. Yes, right? Yeah. Okay. We'll go a little faster. In this chapter, it will be also explained that out of the two knowers, one is fallible, another one is infallible. Okay. One is superior, another one is subordinate. Who is superior? Who is subordinate? The Jivatma is subordinate, the Paramatma is superior. One who understands these two knower of the fields to be one and the same contradicts the Supreme Personal Godhead. And he states here very clearly, I am also the knower of the field of activities. One who misunderstands a rope to be a serpent is not in knowledge. This rope and serpent, right? This example comes from the Mayavadis, from Shankaracharya. They give a very nice example. They say you can in the Vedantic philosophy, right? They give this example, the Mayavadis. In the night, you may think that the rope is snake, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and you may get afraid, but actually it is just a rope. No, no, it is just a rope. Why are you getting afraid? That's how the world is one. And they give many, many more examples. But we need to understand that rope and serpent both are in real. We may misidentify one with another, okay, but they are real personalities. There are different kinds of bodies and there are different owners of the bodies because each individual soul has its individual capacity for lording it over the material nature. They are different bodies, but the supreme also is present in them as controller. The word "sa" is significant for it indicates the total number of bodies. That is the opinion of Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, one of the Acharya, that it is talking about multiple bodies also. Krishna is the super soul present in each and every body apart from the individual soul. And Krishna explicitly says here that the real knowledge is to know the super soul is the control of both the field and the finite enjoyment. Any questions? Okay. Tat kshetram yachcha yadrakcha yad vikari yatascha yat. So many times cha is used. Sa cha yo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shunu. Now please hear from me. Here my brief description of this field of activities and how it is constituted and what are the changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities and what his influences are. So briefly Krishna is going to talk about all these things. The Lord is describing the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities in their constitutional position. One has to know how this body is constituted, the materials of which the body is made, under whose control this body is working, how the changes are taking place, whereupon the changes are coming, what causes are, what reasons are, what ultimate goal of the individual soul is, and what is the actual form of the individual soul. Some of these questions are questions of the modern medical universities, right? What it is made of, how it is working, how it is interacting, but some questions they don't ask. Where is the soul? Is there really a soul? What is the goal of the soul? What is the relationship of the soul? Right? That is what is spiritual science. Material science only talks about the body, but spiritual science talks about the body and the these questions, the goal and the relationship, like that. One should also know the distinction between individual living soul and the super soul, the different influences, the potentials, etc. One just has to understand this Bhagavad Gita directly from the description given by the Supreme Personal Godhead, and all this will be clarified. One should be very careful not to consider the Supreme Personal Godhead in every body to be one with the individual soul. See this, we are one, you can become him, and all that. Huh? This concept, the acharyas are hammering here. Don't think that the one means that they have become one, they have become one in reality. No, they have become one in purpose. This is like something like equating the potent and the important. Potent, who is potent? Super soul. Important, individual soul. He can only control his body, right? But potent is like he can control every body. Then it's like equating both of them. Can we equate father to son? Can we equate husband to wife? Can we equate father and son are equal? Can we say that?
No, Prabhuji,
No,
no.
Prabhu.
Similarly, we cannot say even husband and wife are equal. We cannot equate them. then they are complementary to each other. They are helping each other like that. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here for today. Any questions or comment? Any questions?
Nature, consciousness.
Hmm. Okay. So no questions. We'll stop here.